Hi, in this video we'll be getting started with using Dubler in Garageband. So once you've downloaded and registered the Dubler app, you want to click Create New Profile to open up a blank profile. And at this point you'll also want to make sure that the Dubler mic is properly connected, and if it is, the logo at the top here will be lit up green. Now the great thing about Garageband is that it's super easy to set up and use, so we don't need to change any preferences. If I want to control a pitched instrument, I can simply select an instrument from the library, so I've got this analog mono lead here. And back in Dubler, I want to make sure that I'm in a key or a custom scale before I start singing. I'm just going to mute this track actually so we don't hear it back while I'm doing this. But when you load up a profile, it's straight away in a chromatic scale. And now we have an auto key detect feature, which will detect what you're singing automatically and then put you in a scale or key that's in. So if I start singing now, ba 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 ba, it's listened to what I'm singing and put me in a D sharp minor. So now that I'm in a key or custom scale, I can simply sing or hum, make sure the track's not muted, and I can hear that back. Ba, 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 ba. If you can't hear anything back or it doesn't seem to be working, you can go to Garageband in the top left here, go to Preferences, and in the Audio MIDI tab here, you should see at least one MIDI input in the MIDI status bit here. If for any reason you can't, you can simply select Reset MIDI Drivers to hopefully resolve this. So if I want to control drums or samples in Garageband, I'll first want to set up a few triggers. So you can check out our other video on how to train triggers for a more in-depth guide, but I'm just going to quickly add a few now. So I can hit the plus here to add a trigger. So this would be a C1, a bass drum, and I'm just going to train a sound, making sure that every sound you train is consistent and short and sharp. Just going to add a couple more. So now that's my trigger setup, I can in GarageBand add a drum kit to a channel. So I'm just going to go here and add Boutique 808. Again, make sure your track's not muted or anything, and you can use those triggers that you've just trained to control this. So that's the basics of how to control some pitched instruments and drums in GarageBand. And although it is very easy to set up and use, the downside is it has some limitations and doesn't support some more advanced MIDI features. So Dubler has the capacity to send MIDI data to two different MIDI channels simultaneously, allowing you to control one channel with triggers and another channel with pitched information at the same time. Unfortunately, Garageband as an entry-level digital audio workstation, or DAW, doesn't have the ability to take advantage of this feature, and instead all MIDI information in Garageband is combined and fed directly to the active instrument. So this doesn't prevent you from making beats and melodies using Garageband, but to make sure no accidental notes are being sent to the channel, only activate the side of Dubler that you are currently using. So you can do this in Dubler by using the on-off toggles on each side in the top left here. Another limitation is that Garageband doesn't facilitate MIDI CC mapping, which is required to use the R, E, U and the envelope dials at the top here. It also has a fixed buffer size, and therefore the audio latency in Garageband, which is longer than in some DAWs, can't be changed. But if you want to start taking your music making further and take advantage of simultaneous MIDI channel control and CC MIDI mapping in Dubler, we recommend testing out some other more advanced DAWs such as Logic Pro or Ableton. That's the basics of using Dubler with Garageband. Make sure to check out our other videos that go more in depth with each part of Dubler to make sure you're getting the most out of it.